What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and in this video I'm going to talk about why I spent $30,000 on crabs. Yes, I did. I spent $30,000 to get some crabs. Not those kind of crabs, you dirty bastards. I'm going to show you what kind of crabs I'm talking about, and I'm going to show you also why I just might double down. And you see it in the news, you see it everywhere. Bitcoin took a nosedive down, but why am I still doubling down on this crypto market? You're gonna find out about all that and a heck of a lot more. So I'm super fired up to show you what I've been working on. I hope you're fired up. Let's go in and do this. All right, guys and girls, I know I've been kind of a stranger a bit to YouTube, but that's for a reason. I've been working behind the scenes really hard at everything that there is in crypto, particularly the sector called GameFi. Now, for some of you guys that do not know what GameFi is, let's quickly talk about it and what it is. Ideally, all it means is it is a way to play to earn. Now, that might confuse some of you, but way back in the day, I used to operate a website where I found out at some point, a friend of mine who was a nurse told me that I could literally play video games and get paid to play these video games. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, that's not possible. Yes, it was possible, and it was possible through the magic of playing online, making money in one of these games through one of several different elements, and then selling that money on a third-party site like eBay and or player auctions or somewhere. But I'll say this much, a lot of the games at the time frowned upon that, and they really kind of were very vigilant in throwing people out of the game that were doing that. Like one such game was Star Wars Galaxy. I got so many accounts shut down with so much money. I forget what they're called in the Star Wars, what the money is. Like all the Star Wars nerds help me out down there. I'm obviously not that much of a Jedi nerd, but you guys certainly know what the coin or the dollars are called in Star Wars. And I got tossed off for doing that and selling them on a third-party site. Well, lo and behold, 20 years later, now there's something in crypto called GameFi. So what is GameFi all about? Well, it's the ability to play the game to earn money. And guess what? The games, they don't frown upon it. In fact, they cheer you on to do it and they pay you. Now, that is the part that most people can't understand. Like, how do they pay me, Liz? I don't understand all that. Well, one such game that I do think is going to be here for the long haul, and for the long haul, I mean in the next 2 to 3 years, is a game by the name of Crabada. Now, you might have heard about it. A lot of people pronounce it Crabada. You say potato, I say potato. Who gives a shit, right? It's about crabs, people. It's about crabs. I didn't mean that I had crabs like an STD. I meant that I bought some crabs, like these gaming NFTs, to play this game. So let's talk about that and how that works. Now, it's quite simple. How do you get paid to play these games? Well, it all starts by buying an NFT or a game NFT. In this case, it is a crab. Yes, think SpongeBob, think Bikini Bottom. I've talked about these guys before in one of my videos, but you can see that you can get a crab for as little as $100. And that is an insane amount right now, considering I paid as much as $7,000 for a single crab. Now, what do you do with these crabs, right? You obviously don't pass them on to people like we do in the real world. You get these crabs out and you put them into battle against one another, or you put them out into the mines. They're basically working for you. They're like your VAs. This is a VA army that you have. You create this VA army. You can also pimp them out, as I've talked about before, how I'm pimping crabs out in the tavern. And yeah, it sounds like they're sitting around having some crabby beers. No, they're not sitting around having crabby beers. They're sitting out working in the mines, and guess what? You're getting paid for it because you're pimping them out. So how does that work out? Well, what I prefer to do is send them out to the mines. So I'll come over here to this Explore tab, and then I'll do something called looting. Just like you can do in the good old US of A when there's a riot or there's a controversy, people go out in the streets and they loot stores. It's the same thing here. You can start to loot, and right now you'll notice I have 0 loots because I'm obviously making this video, but what you can do is you can send your crab teams out, and you can put these teams together after you buy crabs. Here's my teams. You send these teams out into the mines and or into a loot. And what they're going to do is they're just basically going to try to steal gold from other crabs, or the token, which is called TUS, Treasure Under the Sea. And you can see here that I've accumulated over $800 worth of these tokens by looting or stealing from other crab people out there. So let's take a look at my overall stats so you can see how this works. My stats, and I do have the name clear it out. I think you guys would really get a kick out of the name. Right now, you're going to notice these are the amount of days that I've played where I've had these crabs playing. And I'm going to save the best part for last here. You guys are going to be shocked at this. But you'll notice there's a pretty decent decrease here. Now, you might say like, well, Liz, doesn't look like you're doing that great. You made $42 whole. Like, wow, woohoo. You really got something. You're really onto something, Liz. 259 there, right here, 359. Well, a lot of that is largely due to the part that Bitcoin did go down. So obviously it brought every coin down with it. It drug them all down under the sea in this case. But you'll also notice one other thing. You'll see that these gas fees, they're astronomical. Like I'm paying $300 for gas fees where I used to pay $129. And that's a lot because the AVAX network is really full. There's a lot of brand new developments on the AVAX network, a lot of apps that are using the AVAX network, and there's a lot of things that are happening on the AVAX network. So all this cluster, all this congestion has got the gas prices rising, similar to what Ethereum has seen over the past course of the year. So they have recently, since this was filmed, which was even last week, on the 15th of May, what Crabada, the game, did is they released their own network built on top of the AVAX network. And that is going to, or has already lowered the gas prices. So right now I'm seeing gas, I'm paying for gas about, it's ridiculously different, the price that I'm paying for gas. So on the days where I was paying $200, $300, I would now be paying an equivalent of like $10 to $15. So it really should enhance the overall experience of playing the game. And you'll note here I had $270 days, $300 days, but on some of these days where I made $42, I'm paying out over $200 in gas, which is really a ton. And you'll also see that I was not playing as many games either. My total loot wins were 77, my loot losses were 37. So a lot less games happening just because of the rising gas price. What I would do, and the reason that there's so much difference in the days where I would play over 150 loots versus days where I only played 100, is that the gas prices were so high that I'd literally tell my bot not to play when gas was above a certain price. And that would help me lower the costs of gas overall and keep my profitability in the positive, because there was a lot of people that do have bots that were just running their bots and making a lot less money. So you'll see on those days I made like $42, and there was a significant decrease overall in the amount of profit that I would make on a day-to-day basis. But that's only because I was throttling the amount that I wished to not pay gas when it went over. And again, you can play this. The great thing about this is you can play this manually. That's exactly how I started. I would literally go in there one by one, start a mine. So in a minute, I'm going to show you what that means and how you actually start playing a game. But again, like I said, you can enhance your overall experience and make it truly idle by introducing a bot, which pretty much is nothing more than either leaving your computer on 24/7 playing these games and using a bot that someone else wrote, and or actually having a dedicated server doing that and having that on 24/7 and allowing you to play this game pretty much while you sleep. So right here, I'm going to go jump back into the Explore tab, which is where you can kind of see all the action happening in Crabada. And there's a button here that says Start Mining Expedition. You can see I have all these different teams. I'm just going to select one of the many different teams on there. And I'm going to try to put this team, or not try, I'm going to put this team into a mining expedition. Well, I did try. It didn't work out that time. Here we go. Now I've got the browser refreshed. I'm going to hit confirm. I'll let my MetaMask jump me into this mining expedition. Then it's going to take just a little bit of time before we see that the game has put me into an idle game, or like basically a game where I don't have to do anything. There are my crabs. They are in the mine. You'll see that the reward would be 334 TUS if we won this mine, and 4 CRA tokens if we win. And I'm going to be in there for 3.5 hours, not having to do anything. It's all completely idle. And here are my crabs. You'll notice that they are waiting to see if somebody tries to loot this mine. Now, mines will very often get looted. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But all I do is leave it there and I get started on the next one. And this is what I meant by had to click things manually. So it's that simple to jump into the game to make some money. And again, in the future, I will be making more videos on Crabada if you let me know below in the comments. Questions and comments, always appreciated. I will also be putting out the Discord link for my GameFi Discord very soon, so look forward to that. I'll see you guys in the next video.